Hell, it's about time.
What's up, everybody? It's Gibberish HS here, and I am here with another card review of Saviors of Uldum. We have a lot of new cards today, and in fact, so many it's a little crazy. I've been a little bit behind, so I downloaded all these cards, and so they're going to be a little jumbled in the release order, but I still have them all, so don't you worry, you're still going to get all the content. So we've got a new quest, a new priest legendary, and a neutral legendary, which I'm really excited about to talk all about all three. So with that, we're just gonna get straight into it. We're gonna start today with a rogue card. It's called World Kick Master. 2 cost 1/2 epic. Whenever you play a combo card, add a random combo card to your hand. This card I think is really good for just different reasons. The card generation alone is really good for it. The stats are pretty weak for what you get for 2 mana, but you don't have to worry about that too much because this is something you're not planning to play this and then leave it alone. You're not going to play this on turn 2. You're going to play this on turn 4 or on turn 8 and then like use this as combos. So the purpose of this card is to get as much value of it as you can, and that will definitely see play. I would be shocked if this card didn't see play. So I'm gonna rate it 4 out of 5. Really strong and has some really good combo potentials. I would say that we would have to watch out because a random combo card isn't as good as obviously as a specific one, but there aren't too many combo cards like in standard now, so you would have to watch out for that. But like some of them would probably either be really good for your rogue deck or really bad. So you would have to kind of do this a couple times probably to get the worth out of it. But really good card, 4 out of 5. Next is Wasteland Assassin. It's a 5 cost 4/2. It's a common and it's got Reborn with Stealth. So people have been talking about this card and they're like, is it really that much better than, you know, a 3 cost 4/2 with Stealth? And that's the real question because we have Panthers that are 3 cost 4/2s. There is Stealth, and this is a 5 cost 4/2 with Stealth, but it got Reborn. Does that Reborn make it worth it? I say yes, and the reason why I say that is because when you have it come back, 1 health difference, alright, it's going to come back as a 4/1 with Stealth. So you can kill this, alright, and then it'll come back as with 1 life. I think that makes it worth it. Will it see a lot of play? Probably not. Mainly Arena is where I'm guessing this will see play. But I do think that this card is actually pretty better than most people think. Most people think it's too expensive, but I think it's actually a pretty good card. So I'm going to rate this 3 out of 5. It's a good card, probably better for Arena, but I'm excited to see how it'll continue. Next is the Tortland Pilgrim. Yes, the Tortlands are back. We haven't seen much of them since Ungoro, but they are back. A cost 5/5. Amazing stats, right? It's an epic and it says Battle Cry. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. Now, this is a mage card specifically, so you have a lot of possibilities because if you think about it, mage spells are actually pretty specific in their targets. Stuff like Flame Strike, right? I just deal 4 damage to all enemy minions. So this is actually a pretty good card, I think. Now, the nice part about this is that you get to discover the card. It's not just pull a card out and cast it. But one thing I do want to say is that this is a very specific deck archetype. It's big spell. And we haven't seen a lot of big spell mage because it's not that we don't have big spells, but it's that we don't have the minions or smaller spells to push that type of deck into the late game. So I would say this is a good card. I just think it probably needs a little more backing up. And that's one thing that I think is really good with these reviews is that it's kind of hard to judge these cards all the way until we have more cards. This card could be either a 5-star card if we get more big spells from Mage, or it could just be a 4-star card, which is why I'm going to rate it right now, 4 stars. Next is Sunstruck Henchman. He's a 4 cost 6/5 rare. At the start of your turn, this has 50% chance to fall asleep. Interesting card, not much to it. I think it's probably better an arena card than a standard card. I don't really to be honest, I don't really know a deck where a neutral ogre with a 50% chance has ever really been used. It's kind of just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. It's good stats, but I don't think it's good enough to push it through. Maybe if it was a 7-6, I think it could see play. As a 6-5, I'm not too sure. But I think in Arena, it might get chosen a couple of times. So, it's a okay card. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 just because of Arena. Alright, next is a Hunter's Secret. 2-cost common. Pressure Plate. Secret, after your opponent casts a spell, destroy a random enemy minion. So, a lot of people have been saying this is one of the weaker secrets that Hunter will have. And I kind of disagree because I think it's actually I like the spell aspect to it. And you want to play this around specific things. You know, you wouldn't just play some secrets. You would wait for times to play them. So, alright, so I think this is just one of those secrets. People have been arguing that, hey, you can use stuff like Deadly Shot that will just kill a minion, basically, and you don't want to have to worry about that, and you can time it better. But I feel like with the 1 mana discount, this is just as good. Plus, it's a secret, which helps in some ways. I can see why people are questioning this, but I actually think the secret is pretty good. Hunter already has a lot of secrets, but I think it could go all the way with this. So I'm for the secret. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5, but it's really just gonna have to depend on the meta that we go through. All right, Plague of Wrath. Another plague card is a 5-cost warrior card. So we got the Warrior Plague, and it's a rare. Destroy all damaged minions. That's it. That is really strong, alright? I want you to think about that for just a second, right? That card is actually very powerful. We saw a card, I believe, in Gadgetzan, which was a 2-cost spell that dealt 3 damage to all damaged minions. That totally saw play. So this would also affect yours, because it's a plague, but still, that is really strong to see that. So, as we go through this, I want you to know that this card will definitely see play. I would be shocked if it didn't. I'm going to just give it 5 stars right off the bat. It's not, like, incredible, but it is in a way that, like, it's a card where it's very flexible for the control warrior deck type. And different cards like Whirlwind, for instance, would be very good in this. So, it's a very strong card, and I think it has a lot of potential. Now, we got the Warlock Plague. It's a 1-cost spell, and it's a rare. I think this card is actually really cool. Destroy all your minions. For each one, destroy a random enemy minion. So, I think this is really cool, and my first thought when I saw this was that this would be very good against something like Conjure Mage. Let's say you're playing a Zoolock deck, and you have a bunch of small minions, and then he plays that Khadgar and gets like 4/8/8 minions, alright, on like turn 5, and you're just like, what? Well, you play your Plague of Flames, and it destroys your board, but it also gets rid of his board. So, it's a really strong card, and I'm actually a really big fan of the cost. I think 1 mana is actually really fair, and that's really good because now it's going to be very well for other manipulative. It's just cheaper, and you can work with it and more combo. So you can basically remove the board for 1 mana, and then you can play more minions. All right. This has the potential to be something like a Twisting Nether at like a 6 mana discount. I know Twisting Mana is 8, but this gives you just a little more flexibility. So, alright, next is one of the craziest cards I think we have seen out of Druid this expansion so far. 7-cost spell, Overflow. It's a rare, and it says restore 5 health to all characters. Draw 5 cards. We haven't seen a draw 5 card like this since Frozen Throne with Infested Infestation. That is hard to say. So Overflow is really good. Obviously, I would rate it 5 stars, just like the other past 2 plagues. All right, Overflow is really good in how it works with the current meta. So Heal Druid is already kind of a thing. This card can totally be put in Heal Druid. I love this card. And it doesn't just have to be put in Heal Druid. If you think about it, there is a card that's 6 cost, Starfire, deals 5 damage, draw 1 card. Well, here you can restore 5 health to all characters and then just draw 5 cards. So it's crazy, alright? This is a crazy card with a punch of potential. And to be honest, if you're playing this card, you don't care that it heals for the other person. I mean, sure, it's gonna like suck if his hero gets restored 5, but the minions on his end probably won't matter too much. You're only gonna play this when it benefits you more, or when you need card generation. So I'm a big fan of this card. I really like it. So yeah, 5 stars. Alright guys, next is probably the most powerful 2-drop we have seen in all of Hearthstone. It's crazy strong. And it's a neutral card, which makes it even more interesting. We all know that class cards are usually more powerful than neutral cards. And that's because neutral cards are very generic, and class cards are usually for a specific deck archetype. This card is so crazy, alright? Let's just say that for a second. Look at it. 2 cost 2/3, Neferset, Ritualist. Battle card restore adjacent minions to full health. It's a 2/3. So that's already stats that are good enough for you to play in a Zoolock deck or just an aggressive deck. But this is also strong enough to be played in a late game deck. So this card is just good enough on its own for a Zoolock. As you play in between minions, cool, it heals them up. But this is also really strong because then you can do different things like with big minions, big warrior, conjure mage. I see so many possibilities with this card. So strong, unbelievably a 5-star card. Next is Micro Mummy. 2 cost 1/2 mech. I like these little mummy cards that they're making. They're really cute. It's an epic and it says Reborn. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +1 attack. I think this card is pretty good, actually. I'm just going to say 4 stars right off the bat. The reason why I'm not giving it 5 stars is because I think I don't really see a deck right now where it's very strong except for Secret Paladin. Or Mech Paladin. Sorry, my bad. Mech Paladin would be really good with this with attachments and stuff. I'm just not sure if the +1 attack is really something to get excited about, but the fact that it's a Reborn card is really good because then it helps with the new Paladin quest. So I like the card. I think it's really strong. I'm not a big fan of Mech Paladin, so I'm not excited about that, but I like the card. It's a good card. And yeah, so next card is Livewire Lance. 3 cost 2/2. This one came out today. It's an epic for warrior, and it says after your hero attacks, add a lackey to your hand. So we're about to see this when we go into one of the quests, because the new quest is for warrior. So this weapon will definitely help with that. Lackeys are really strong. I think this card's really good, especially if you were buffing it. Lackeys are just so good in general that I think it's worth this, because you got a weapon right now in warrior. It's a 3 cost 3/2. This is a 3 cost 2/2 epic, but you get a lackey, and I think the lackeys are enough to help you push through. And if you decide to put this with your quest, it'd be pretty good. So I'm gonna rate this card 4 out of 5. It has potential, especially with the quest. I just want to see it with a little more, I don't know, huzzah, I guess you can say. Alright, next card, Into the Fray. 1 cost warrior spell, rare. Give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. Wow, so they're really trying to push for this taunt warrior. And I was actually surprised, which you'll see in a second, that the warrior quest isn't about taunt minions. So I think this card's pretty good. I think it's going to be kind of hard to fit into a deck. We've seen cards similar to this in the past, and they haven't seen a whole lot of play. Now, this is a little bit stronger than the ones we've seen in the past. It gives you them 2/2, but it's more specific with the requirements that they need to be taunt minions. So I just one thing I want to say about this card is that I love Taunt Warrior and I hope it comes back. And if you also compare this to something like the Armadillo, which is a 6 cost 4/7 with Taunt, playing this card while this is in your hand is pretty good. So I'm a fan of this card. I think it's good. I'm just not really sure what deck it can. Like, I'm not sure if people will have room in their deck to play it. Next is Infested Goblin. He is a 3 cost 2/3 taunt. Death row at 2/1/1 scarabs with taunt to your hand. Of course, the scarabs are beast, and they're basically just big bugs. I like this card, but if it was a battle cry, I feel like it'd be so much better. But it's a neutral card, so it's allowed to be mediocre, alright? This is just another card I feel like that fits into this aggro meta that we're trying to get a feel out of. I could see this in maybe a Zoolock or a aggressive deck. My problem with this card is that I'm not sure if the stats line up with the reward. So 3 cost 2/3 is not that good. If this was a 2 cost 2/3, this would be really good, but it's not. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think it's good, but I don't think it's crazy or anything to talk about. Next, this card is crazy and it has a lot to talk about. So we got 4 cost 2/7 High Priest Amet. It's a legendary for priest. What? Whenever you summon a minion, set its health equal to this minion's. So 2/7 is a very weird looking stat line, isn't it? And for 4 mana, you might think, is this good? This is crazy good. Alright, kind of reminds me of Vol'jin in a way for some reason. But just look at this card. I mean, it looks so cool. And so many possibilities. Crazy strong. Alright, so a lot of possibilities with this. And yeah, it's a crazy card. 5 stars, no doubt. Alright, now we're here to the quest for Warrior. I almost said Warlock. It's for Warrior. Hack the system. Of course, this one costs, all the quests are. And this one's going to give you a hero power. Quest. Attack 5 times with your hero. Reward, get Anorefit's Core. And what is Anorefit's Core? It's a hero power that summons a 4/3 golem. After your hero attacks, refresh this. So 5 attacks for your hero is actually a big demand if you think about it. Now with cards like Livewire Lands, that makes it a little better because it gives you lackeys to help get you through the game. When I first saw this card, Livewire Lands wasn't out, and I was thinking this is going to be very hard to do. I need more weapons, I thought, to make this work. Livewire Lands is a really good weapon for this. But the problem is, I don't know if it's enough. I need more. I probably need one more weapon or maybe a spell that generates a weapon for me. I like the card. I think it's really cool. And, you know, with a 4/3 golem that refreshes this hero power every time you attack, I think that's definitely worth it if you can get it. But the problem is, this would only really go in a control warrior. And if you're dying, this is useless. Because you're going to want to gain armor, not summon a 4/3 minion. So, I like the card. I'm just hoping that there's a way to make it work with weapons. We've seen weapon decks before, and they're not really that good, to be honest. So, I hope we can see a deck with this in it. Next is Grand Mummy. Oh, by the way, Hack the System is a 4-star card. Alright, back to it. Grand Mummy. 2 cost 1/2. Rare for a priest. Reborn. Death row, give a random friendly minion 1/1. This card's really good, and we're seeing this more Zoolock kind of form coming out of Priest, which I know I said Zoolock, but aggressive deck. And I like this out of it because it's really interesting to see decks unfold in new archetypes. I'm not a huge aggro fan, but I do like it when new classes get something different. So I think Grand Mummy's a really cool card. 4-star card. Now we're going to get into more types of interesting cards. First one is Generous Mummy. A 3 cost 5/4 reborn. Your opponent's cards cost 1 less. So this is a very interesting card for different kind of decks. I think it's more of an arena card than an average standard card, but I do think it's really good in some aspects. My problem with the card is that it's I think that I like the your opponent's cards cost one less, but I'm not sure if what you get is worth it because even if they kill this, you still get it afterwards. So I like the card. I'm just not sure if there's a lot of room for it, if you know what I mean. So 3 stars, pretty good. Next is a warrior card, and it's a taunt minion, which makes it really strong, which we will talk about in just a second. Frightened Flunky, I love that. 2 cost 2/2 taunt. Battlecry, discover a taunt minion. So, if you think about it, this card is really crazy. Alright, and the reason why I say that is because if you look at it, a 2 cost 2/2 with taunt is pretty good. It's a common, so that adds to it. Discover is very limited. Crypt Parent also mentioned this in his card reviews, and he said, I believe that there's like a 400% chance of getting a class card when you do Discover. So, taunt, there aren't very many taunt minions right now in Warrior. Maybe there are more to come. We will find out. But this card is so good because you could possibly just discover another Frightened Flunky. Not just that, but Armadillo, which is also a taunt card. So I think this card is really cool. 5 stars, and it's good. One thing I like about it is that it's really good in Arena, and it's really good in Standard. Next is Disease Vulture. That is right. Diseased Vulture is a 4 cost 3/5 minion. He is an epic, and he is for Warlock, and he's a beast. A lot of stuff about that card. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3 cost minion. We've seen a card like this before in Kobolds and Catacombs. It was a neutral card, I believe, or a mage card, one of the two. Anyway, it's a log play. This card is going to be crazy. I believe this card can totally help Zoolock. It could possibly bring that to one of the top tier decks. Because dealing damage to yourself is so strong. Alright? Cards like Flame Imp, your hero power alone is really good with this. Alright? So, different cards are going to help you in so many ways with this card alone. So, this card is really strong because your average 3 cost minion is fairly decent. Next is Colossus of the Moon. 10 costs, 10/10. Divine Shield and Reborn. So, I think this card is really, really awesome. I love this card. I love the artwork. I like just huge minions, alright? I just love huge minions. Now, this might be hard to kind of put into a deck. Now, a lot of people have been saying this is probably a better card for you to not put in your deck, but to get in a different way. So in Shaman, it could be like Evolve, or Conjure Mage, it could be through that. So the deck is really interesting. The card is. My only, I actually think this is really cool because in Big Shaman, I think this card would be great in it. Imagine in Big Shaman, alright, picture this. You have this in your deck. You play the 5 cost 4/4 that turns into a 4/4 copy of any minion in your deck. Alright, you get this. He becomes a 4 cost 4/4 with Divine Shield Reborn. When he dies, he comes back as a 10/10 with Divine Shield. Alright, well 10/1 actually. So that is crazy. So I really like this card, and I'm going to rate it 4 stars, even though most people are rating it 3. Alright, next is 9 cost 9/6, Anubisath Warbringer. Sorry if I said that wrong. It's a common for neutral, and it says Defra will give all minions in your hand 3/3. Oh, if only Frozen Throne was in Standard, because if you took that 1 cost spell, I believe Death Pack or something like that, and you use it, you could put this in a 100 deck, and a Death Throne 100 deck, and this would be so strong. It basically would be like a 10 cost 9/6 with Battlecry and Death Throttle of give all minions in your hand 3/3. But that is not for us today, so for Standard, this card is okay. I would probably rate it 3 stars to 2. It's just probably too much mana for the effect. Now, I will say that this card is very good for Arena. For Arena, you can see this card in much different things, because in Arena, it matters a lot on your just getting big minions on the field. And this has a pretty good death rattle, too. And it's able to stop cards like Never Skip Dig Day. So, it's a good card. Definitely some potentials there. 5 cost 3/5 epic. This card also came out today. It's a taunt, and it says cost 0 if you cast a spell that costs 5 or more this turn. I think this is more than possible. And if you think about it, we had that 5 cost 4/4 that if you cast a spell that turn that costs 5 or more, it costs 0 too. And Kobolds and Catacombs, and that card saw so much play. Now, this is only for Druid, but with cards like Overflow, alright, you're going to get that really easy, and it's actually really strong, because you could play Overflow and draw this, and it will cost 0 immediately. So, really strong card, 5 stars, and I really like it. It's very flexible to fit into any deck you want, I feel like. And our final card was, I should have revealed actually my last one. It's Hunter's Pact. It's a 3 cost Hunter spell, and it's a common. Add a random Hunter, Beast, Secret, and Weapon to your hand. I think this is really good. Getting 3 card generation, even though they're random, is still really good. People are like, well, it's random. You know, you could get any Beast, any Secret, any Weapon. Well, remember, it's all specific to Hunter. Hunter's Beasts are pretty good. That's why, you know, it's just Hunter. Hunter is known for its cool beast. You got stuff like Savannah Highmane, King Crush, alright? You got all these different types of beasts that are really good for this deck. Secrets are generally pretty good with that too, and your weapons are really limited actually. There are only like 3 weapons I think in standard, maybe 2. So I think this card's really strong, 4 out of 5. I think it's going to see some play in several decks. So there you go, guys. I know this review was kind of long, a little longer than what I usually do for my videos, but we had a lot of cards to talk about today. We had a lot of things to go over. So it was just really fun to go over these cards. I'm finally updated on my Saviors of Uldum card reviews, but don't worry, as soon as more cards come, I will be releasing them. So it's going to be so much fun going over these with you guys. Let me know in the comments what your favorite card was. My favorite card probably, I would have to say, was Overflow. I really enjoyed the way that kind of works. Overflow is such a cool card. And also, Colossus of the Moon looks like it's going to be so much fun in Big Shaman. So, I can't wait to play these decks. I can't wait to just play Hearthstone again. It's going to be so much fun, y'all. So, I will see you guys in the next review. See ya!